The ending of Alien Earth Episode 7 didn't just shock us, it completely flipped the story on its head. In those last few minutes, we saw a twist that not only changed the way we look at the aliens, but also raised terrifying questions about what it means for humanity's future. Episode 7 built up tension slowly, but the final act exploded with revelations. The episode closes with the surviving group of humans finally reaching what they believed was a safe zone. A location that was meant to hold the answers to Earth's mysterious transformation. Up until this point, we had seen the characters constantly on the run, hiding from both hostile environments and the alien presence that seemed to grow stronger with every passing day. By the time they reach the safe zone, they are broken, exhausted, and desperate for hope. But instead of safety, what they find is a horrifying truth. The final scene begins with the group entering a ruined facility, filled with strange technology that clearly does not belong to humans. At first, it looks like the place is abandoned, but the more they explore, the more they notice signs of recent activity, fresh marks on the walls, machines still humming faintly, and alien symbols carved into the floor. The mood shifts quickly from relief to dread. Viewers can almost feel the weight of realization pressing down on the characters as they understand this facility is not a refuge built by humans, but a station created by the aliens themselves. The biggest moment comes when the group uncovers a chamber hidden deep inside the facility. This chamber contains pods that look eerily similar to the ones we saw back in earlier episodes, but this time they aren't empty. Inside, we see human bodies alive, but clearly altered. Their skin carries alien patterns, their eyes shine faintly with unnatural light, and their breathing is in sync with the glowing machines that surround them. It's a chilling moment because it forces us to question whether these people are still human, or if they've become something else entirely. One character, who has been suspicious of the aliens from the beginning, screams that this is proof of assimilation, that the aliens aren't trying to destroy Earth but to merge humanity with their own kind. Another character argues the opposite, saying that maybe this is survival. Maybe the aliens are offering a way to live on a planet that is no longer the same Earth they once knew. This clash of beliefs highlights the deep divide within the group and sets the stage for what is coming next. The episode ends with an even bigger twist. One of the pods opens, and the person who steps out is not a stranger but someone the group thought was dead earlier in the season. Their reappearance, transformed and eerily calm, leaves everyone speechless. Instead of attacking, this person simply says, "You don't understand yet. This is the only way forward." The screen cuts to black immediately after, leaving viewers stunned and desperate for answers. This ending doesn't just work as a shock, it works as a statement. It tells us that the conflict isn't just humans versus aliens, but something much more complicated. It's about identity, survival, and the fear of losing what makes us human. And that's why the final moments of Episode 7 are so important. They set up the idea that humanity might not be fighting for survival in the way we think, but instead fighting against a future they don't fully understand. The ending of Episode 7 is not only shocking because of what happens on the surface, but because of the layers of meaning hidden underneath. Every frame in the final sequence feels intentional, carrying clues about the larger story of Alien Earth. The facility itself is a powerful symbol. At first glance, it looks broken and abandoned, like humanity's failed attempt to hold on to something familiar. But when the characters realize it was never human to begin with, the meaning shifts. The facility becomes a mirror of humanity's own illusions, our belief that we are still in control of Earth, when in truth, the planet has already changed into something else. The alien markings carved into the walls are not just strange decorations. They are a reminder that this new world belongs to a new ruler, and humans are merely guests who refuse to accept the invitation to leave or transform. The pods add another symbolic layer. On the surface, they are horrifying machines that blur the line between human and alien. But think about how they echo real-world fears of losing individuality. Each pod holds a person suspended between two identities, not fully human anymore but not completely alien either. This visual drives home one of the strongest themes of the series: survival at the cost of self. The glowing patterns on their skin symbolize change that cannot be reversed, suggesting that once a person steps into this process, there is no going back. It's not just about survival of the species, it's about evolution, whether humanity wants it or not. The chamber where the pods are stored is also rich in symbolism. Its circular design, with rows of pods facing one another, almost resembles a ritual site. Circles are often used in storytelling to symbolize cycles: life, death, and rebirth. Here, the circle suggests that humanity's story is not ending, but restarting in a form that looks alien to us. This ties to the unsettling idea that what we fear as the end of humanity may actually be the beginning of something larger. The aliens may not be conquerors in the traditional sense, but agents of forced renewal, pushing the planet and its species into a new cycle. Another theme reinforced in this ending is trust versus fear. The two main characters who argue over the meaning of the pods are not just disagreeing about survival. They represent the two sides of humanity's response to change. One side clings to fear, convinced that assimilation means erasure, while the other sees opportunity, a chance to live on in a new form, even if it means letting go of the old. This clash is not only about aliens, it reflects the choices humans face in any moment of crisis, whether to resist change at all costs or to accept it, even when it feels terrifying. The ending forces the audience to sit in this tension. With no clear answer given, the return of the supposedly dead character adds yet another thematic weight. Their transformation is unsettling not only because of how they look, but because of what they represent, the return of the past, but in a form we no longer recognize. When they say, "This is the only way forward," the words echo as both a warning and a promise. Symbolically, this character is a bridge between human and alien, between death and rebirth. Their presence forces the group, and the viewers, to ask, is this transformation a betrayal of humanity? Or is it the path that ensures humanity's survival in a world that no longer belongs to them? Even the cut to black at the very end has symbolic weight. Instead of giving us answers, the screen's sudden emptiness reflects the uncertainty of the story. It is like being forced to stare into a void, left to imagine what comes next. This mirrors the character's own situation. They are standing on the edge of a future they cannot see clearly. For viewers, the darkness is not just a cliffhanger but a reminder of the theme of the unknown. Alien Earth has always been about mystery, about facing forces beyond our comprehension, and Episode 7's ending doubles down on this idea. When we pull back and look at the bigger picture, the themes of Episode 7 are all connected: identity, survival, transformation, and fear of the unknown. The aliens may be terrifying, but their actions suggest a plan that goes beyond destruction. The humans may see themselves as survivors, but they are also prisoners of their own fear. The ending shows us that the real battle is not between humans and aliens, but within humanity itself, between those who cling to what was, and those willing to step into what could be. By layering these symbols and themes into the final moments, Alien Earth Episode 7 leaves us with more than just a shocking reveal. It leaves us with a question that lingers long after the screen goes dark. Is humanity defined by what it was, or by what it can become? And in that sense, the ending is not simply about survival. It's about whether we are ready to accept a future that looks nothing like the past we are so desperate to preserve. The ending of Episode 7 only works as powerfully as it does because of the characters and the choices they make in those final moments. On the surface, we see fear, shock, and confusion, but beneath that, every decision reflects deeper personal struggles. Understanding why each character reacts the way they do gives us a window into the larger conflict that Alien Earth is building. Let's begin with the leader of the group, who has carried the responsibility of keeping everyone alive since the very first episode. Their motivation has always been simple: survival. But survival, for them, means protecting what is left of humanity as it was. In the ending, when they see the altered humans inside the pods, their response is immediate rejection. To them, assimilation is not survival, it is surrender. They are driven by a deep fear of erasure, of watching humanity lose its identity, and this fear makes them dig in harder. Their decision to resist the facility's offer is not only about logic, but about emotion. They would rather risk death as a human than live on as something alien. This mindset reveals a powerful theme about pride, about the refusal to accept change even when it seems inevitable. In contrast, another character, more pragmatic and less emotionally tied to the idea of pure humanity, sees the situation differently. Throughout the season, this character has been practical, often cold, and focused on solutions rather than ideals. When they witness the pods and the altered humans, their first instinct is not fear but curiosity. Their argument that maybe the aliens are offering a way forward comes from a place of logic. They have seen Earth's transformation firsthand, and they know the old world is gone. For them, survival means adapting, even if that adaptation looks terrifying. Their decision to argue in favor of accepting the alien process reflects a willingness to sacrifice identity for existence. And it paints them as both visionary and dangerous. Because if they are right, they are humanity's bridge to the future. But if they are wrong, they risk leading everyone into a trap. Then there is the character who has always been suspicious. almost paranoid, about the aliens. Their motivation comes not from reason, but from trauma. Earlier episodes hinted at their past, lost family taken or killed during the first encounters with the alien presence. So when they see the pods, their reaction is fueled by pain. For them, assimilation is not survival. It's proof that the aliens are stealing what little is left of humanity. Their decision to lash out, to call this a threat, is not only about protecting the group, but also about projecting their own grief. They cannot see possibility where they only see loss. And that makes them one of the most tragic figures, because their choices are driven more by wounds than by vision. The reappearance of the character thought to be dead is the most complex motivation of all. Their calmness when stepping out of the pod is unsettling, not just because of their new alien-like appearance, but because of what it says about their mindset. They no longer seem to be driven by fear or by the desire to preserve the old humanity. Instead, their decision to embrace transformation suggests acceptance, even peace. When they say, "This is the only way forward," it is not a threat, it is a declaration of belief. This character has chosen to let go of the past and embrace the alien process. And in doing so, they become a living symbol of what the future might look like. Their decision also introduces doubt into the group. If someone they once loved and trusted has chosen this path, can they truly call it betrayal? Or is it a step that others will eventually have to take? The group as a whole is fractured by these decisions. Every person is pulled between fear and hope, between loyalty to human identity and the possibility of survival through change. Episode 7's ending forces these motivations into the open. No longer can the group hide behind immediate threats or external enemies. Now, the real conflict is internal. Who do they trust? What do they believe in? And how much of themselves are they willing to sacrifice for survival? What makes this even more compelling is that the characters' decisions reflect real human responses to crisis. Some cling to what is familiar, even when it's fading away. Some adapt quickly, even if it means abandoning what they once valued. Others are driven by grief, unable to see beyond their pain. And a few embrace transformation fully, becoming something new without hesitation. Alien Earth captures these human responses and amplifies them through its science fiction lens, making the story about more than just aliens. It's about us, in the end. The characters' motivations in Episode 7 don't give us clear answers. Instead, they raise questions. Which side is right? Is survival worth it if it means losing who we are? Or is holding on to identity just another way of walking willingly into extinction? These decisions, born from fear, grief, and belief, will shape the path of Episode 8 and beyond. The brilliance of Episode 7 is that it doesn't resolve these conflicts, it sharpens them, leaving us desperate to see who will break, who will adapt, and who will lead humanity into whatever comes next. Episode 7 is one of those chapters in Alien Earth where a second watch almost feels like a different experience. The first time through, the shock of the ending pulls all of our attention, but once the surprise wears off, we start to notice the smaller details scattered across the episode that quietly point toward the finale. These hidden clues, background details, and subtle callbacks are what make this episode so rich, and they reveal just how carefully the show has been built from the start. One of the earliest details comes from the markings on the walls of the facility. At first glance, they just look like alien runes, random symbols carved by creatures that don't think the way humans do. But if you look closely, you'll notice that some of those shapes echo patterns we've seen before, specifically the markings on the skin of altered humans back in earlier episodes. This isn't just a design choice. It's a hint that the alien process has a universal language, one that is written both on structures and on people. It suggests that assimilation isn't just physical, it's cultural, even spiritual. The facility itself almost feels like a temple, with every wall carrying a message of unity between alien and human. Another hidden detail lies in the machines themselves. The glowing chambers that hold the pods aren't just futuristic props. They hum with a rhythm, almost like a heartbeat. And careful viewers might notice that the sound syncs with the breathing of the altered humans inside. This connection is more than atmospheric. It suggests that the pods and the people are one system, tied together in a way that blurs the line between technology and biology. The Easter egg here is subtle but powerful. In earlier episodes, there were passing comments about the aliens being far-living machines, or about technology that grows instead of being built. The facility confirms this idea, showing us that alien technology doesn't separate life from machine, it fuses them. The return of the supposedly dead character also carries hidden meaning. While their sudden reappearance is shocking enough, careful viewers may have already been prepared for it. In Episode 3, during a campfire conversation, One character mentioned that death doesn't always mean the end when it comes to alien encounters. At the time, it felt like vague foreshadowing, maybe just a line about the alien power to manipulate life. But in episode 7, the show cashes in on that line, proving that death in this world is not final, it is transformation. Their calmness, their glowing eyes, and even the way they speak all tie back to earlier hints. What seemed like random dialogue now becomes a breadcrumb trail leading to this exact moment. There's also an Easter egg in the dialogue of the final scene, when the transformed character says, "This is the only way forward." The phrasing is deliberate. Back in episode 1, a scientist recorded a final message before disappearing, saying, "If you want to survive, there is only one way forward." Most viewers might not connect the two lines, but the repetition is intentional. It links the beginning of the season to its midpoint, showing that the aliens' plan has been clear from the start. Whether through cryptic warnings or shocking transformations, the message has always been the same. Resistance is temporary. Assimilation is inevitable. Even the environment carries hidden details. When the group enters the facility, there's a faint glow running through the cracks in the floor. On first viewing, it just looks like alien energy, but freeze the frame, and you'll notice that the glow forms branching patterns that look eerily like the root systems of plants. This connects to a recurring image throughout the series, Earth itself being reshaped, as if the planet is growing under alien influence. The glowing roots suggest that the facility is not just a building but part of a larger living organism. It raises the unsettling possibility that the aliens are not merely visitors, they are fusing with the planet itself, making Earth into something new. Another Easter egg ties directly into the humans. When one character argues that the pods may be a way to survive, they mention a dream they had earlier in the episode about breathing underwater. This feels like just a metaphor at first, but it connects to episode 4, where we saw the alien environment flooding old human cities. Back then, the image of water was associated with destruction. Now, it's reimagined as transformation. The dream is not random, it's a subconscious echo of what the aliens are offering. The ability to survive in a world where humans no longer belong. All these hidden details build the larger mystery of alien Earth. They remind us that nothing in the series is wasted. A stray line of dialogue, a background sound, even the shape of a glowing crack in the wall, all of it feeds into the story's themes. Episode 7, in particular, rewards careful viewers who connect these dots. The ending may feel like a sudden twist, but the truth is that the show has been whispering about this transformation all along. The Easter eggs prove that the aliens' plan, the merging of human and alien life, was foreshadowed from the very beginning. And that's what makes this episode so satisfying despite its cliffhanger. It doesn't come out of nowhere. The seeds were planted, the clues were there, and now the harvest has arrived. The hidden details make the world feel alive, as if everything around the characters has been even when they can't see it yet. For the audience, these Easter eggs create a sense of inevitability. The transformation we saw at the end wasn't just a shocking twist, it was destiny, unfolding step by step, hidden in plain sight all along.